All right, we're about to use the slab roller, but before we do, we're going to get some good quality clay that's nice and moist, very plastic, and we're going to wedge it. Okay, so I'm here on my canvas top, which is nice and clean, and I'm going to take the clay in my hands and push into it and then rock back part of the way, and then push into it and rock back part of the way. I'm pushing in on the sides and creating kind of a cinnamon bun spiral on the edges of it. So this is kind of, you would call this ram's head wedging. There's also spiral wedging where you just kind of go in one direction and it looks more like a spiral. But the basic idea is that you're working the clay to remove any inconsistencies of moisture and to remove any air pockets. So you specifically want to avoid holding it like a big flat piece like that and then like closing the ends in, because that's going to create an air pocket in there, which you don't want. All right, so I'm just going to finish wedging real quick. And that should be enough. Now I'm going to pre-flatten it down to about 1 inch. You don't want to start with it really tall on the slab roller because that just won't work. Okay, so I'm going to take it and I push it like this. If I have a rolling pin, I can use a rolling pin. If you want to do that, that's just fine. Or if you want to beat it with a rolling pin, that's fine. You could also kind of toss it like this. But you want to start off with something that's pretty close to where you want it to end up, but not as tall as the chunk. Then of course you're going to use a scraper and remove any chunks there, and you can dispose of them in the trash can. Do not put them on the floor. This is the slab roller. Here are some of the parts. In here, there's the area that controls the depth. Whatever it is set to in inches, it's usually a little bit less than that because there's canvas involved that is going to sandwich your clay. Okay, so there are 2 pieces of canvas here, and they actually can be completely removed, okay? But once you've got them in, parallel to each other, they just slide right through the open area there, okay? To put clay through, you decide on what depth you want. And then this part here is the crank that operates depth. So if I wanted it very thin, I'd go with a smaller number. And if I wanted it very thick, I could go with a larger number. You'll see that I've hand drawn on an arrow. That indicates a standard 1/4 inch thickness that you might want to go with. So that's what I'm going to do today. If you're not sure, use this number. Okay, then I can come to actually either side. It's ambidextrous, it goes to the right and to the left. I'm going to take my canvas and lift one side of it, making sure that the bottom is flat. I'm going to take that slab that I pre-flattened quite a bit, and I'm going to place it in that area. Then I'm going to put my canvas top right over it. Okay, so it looks like this. The next thing I'll do is I'll push it up until it just about hits this metal rolling bar. If it's not hitting it, it's not going to grip it. This has actually got little teeth. It grips the canvas and pulls it through, okay? Then I'm going to crank this arm. Okay, it can go, like I said, right or left. So if it's not working, a couple things might be true. One, you need to give it a little tug to get it to grip it. So I just yanked on that part while filming. And then once it's got it, you can just steer the steering wheel and it pushes it right through. And then you can pull this back and then you have a beautiful slab. Okay, and you can see that this is a nice thickness. Whatever you put in terms of the width, it will simply make longer. So if you start with something really narrow, it will make it like a tree. It will make it like narrow and long. So if you want something that is wide, start with something that is the width that you want it, because whatever you put in, it's just gonna make it longer front to back. It's not gonna make it wider side to side. And then from here, I never, ever, ever cut anything on this canvas, because if this canvas gets a hole in it, it's not useful to us anymore, because everyone's piece that rolls on it will end up having a mark where that hole in the canvas is. Okay, so from here, I'll help myself to get a board and carry it over to my workspace. All right, so I've got myself a nice clean board. Then we can come back over, and there are a couple tricks to how you do this. One trick is, if you don't think you can pick it up with your hands and just transfer it over without messing it up, you can always put it on there like that, and then flip the entire canvas over onto it. So if you make a really big slab, that might be the way to do it. And then you can carry that over to your area, smooth it. See how there's this canvas texture on it? Remove that texture, smooth it before you build with it, otherwise your piece is gonna look funny. All right, good luck using the slab roller.